Pursuant to the markup notice, it is now in order to consider H.R. 726, the Crow Tribe Water Rights Settlement Amendments Act of 2025. Without objection, the bill will be considered as read and open to amendment at any point. Does any member wish to be recognized for the purpose of debate on the bill?
Now it's time.
Mr. Downing, you're recognized.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. H.R. 726, the Crow Tribe Water Rights Settlement Amendments Act, provides crucial adjustments to the Crow Tribe of Montana's water settlement to ensure the tribe can provide clean drinking water to its communities. In 2010, Congress passed the Crow Tribe Water Rights Settlement Act. This law settled the tribe's water rights and authorized $460 million to design and construct a centralized municipal, rural, and industrial, or MR&I, water system for the reservation. However, due to the project's complexity, rising costs, and extended estimated construction timelines, the initial MR&I pipeline system authorized by the settlement has proven unfeasible for the tribe. With no current ability to utilize settlement funds for water infrastructure, the Crow Reservation continues to experience a clean water crisis. Over 50% of Crow Reservation households have contaminated water, and multiple studies have linked the tribe's higher cancer rates with this lack of clean water access. This crisis simply can't be allowed to continue. This is why I introduced H.R. 726. This bill expands the scope of authorized water projects under the Crow Tribe's water settlement beyond the initial single mandated pipeline project to include a flexible array of smaller scale regional water projects. In doing so, this legislation will dramatically reduce the timeline for delivering clean water to the reservation's communities. H.R. 726 is a straightforward solution that does not alter any existing water rights and appropriates no new federal spending. It simply provides necessary flexibility for the tribe to meet the needs of its citizens. I'd like to thank Chairman Westerman and committee staff for their support on this initiative, and I urge my colleagues to vote in favor of this important legislation for the Crow Tribe. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. Is there further discussion? Mr. Huffman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Federal government does have a legal obligation to ensure tribal communities have access to safe, clean, and reliable water and the infrastructure needed to deliver it. As the committee with primary jurisdiction over tribal water rights settlements, it's our responsibility to ensure tribal nations have secure access to water for current and future generations. I remain committed to advancing these settlements on a bipartisan basis. My concerns today are not primarily with this particular bill, but with the lack of progress on a path forward for the many other pending tribal water rights settlement bills that are crucially important. Last Congress, the committee held a hearing on 12 tribal water rights settlement bills. Since that hearing, committee Democrats and the bill sponsors have repeatedly requested that the committee advance these and other pending settlement bills beyond the hearing stage. Mark them up, pass them into law. Several of these bills have passed the Senate multiple times with unanimous consent, but have stalled here in the House. At the end of last Congress, together with our colleagues on the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs, we asked committee Republicans what they need to move a bipartisan tribal water package by the end of the year. We received no substantive response. In this Congress, we've continued to ask for the majority to work with us. Let's find a way to advance these settlements. We still have no clear path forward. We've been more than willing to work with the majority to resolve their procedural concerns related to spending, yet these bills continue to sit before the committee. And today, the majority has cherry-picked one of them. They've chosen to simply consider this one largely technical Republican settlement bill while the remaining tribal water rights settlement bills are stalled. Tribal water rights settlements have long advanced through bipartisan cooperation, and committee Democrats have consistently made clear we're ready to work in good faith on all the settlement legislation before the committee. But to date, we have seen requests to include settlement bills rejected, markup after markup, despite repeated requests. And today, the majority wants to move a single Republican-sponsored settlement bill after rejecting yet another request of ours to include a non-controversial Democratic-sponsored settlement bill on today's agenda, a bill that's already passed the Senate by unanimous consent. I hope my colleagues will follow through with their statements on working with us. We're ready to work with them to ensure that all these pending settlement bills receive a fair opportunity to advance to the House floor. But until we have a clear and credible path forward, I have to register my deep concern about the lack of progress with the majority's broader approach and commitment to advancing tribal water rights settlements. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Is there further discussion? I recognize myself. I strongly support Mr. Downing's bill, the Crow Tribe Water Rights Settlement Amendments Act of 2025. This legislation recognizes the challenge facing many previously enacted project-based Indian water rights settlements, delivering the original scope of a federal reclamation project within the cost estimated nearly 20 years ago. This bill accomplishes two key goals. First, it converts the existing project-based settlement managed by the Bureau of Reclamation into a fund-based settlement administered by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. This bill also extends the Crow Tribe's exclusive authority to develop hydropower at Reclamation's existing Yellowtail After Bay Dam. This bill is a simple, no-cost amendment to an existing settlement that delivers on the federal government's commitment to the Crow Tribe. I'm pleased that we can move this bill one step closer to becoming law. I also recognize that there are several pending bills related to new and existing water rights settlements that have not been able to move due to cost implications. I certainly understand the importance of these bills, and I would like to work to find a path to advance Indian water rights settlements legislation in a way that allows them to be considered in the House. And while those bills still require additional work to address the cost, I applaud Congressman Downing and Senator Daines for coming together to address the CBO score on this legislation and generate a product that we can move through the committee and move off the House floor. This bill upholds our commitment to Indian country, and I'm glad we're considering it today. I support H.R. 726, and I yield back. Is there further discussion on the bill? Hearing none, it is now in order to consider amendments to H.R. 726. We will now consider the amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 726 offered by the gentleman from Montana, Mr. Downing, designated Downing 73 ANS. Without objection, the amendment is considered read and open to amendment at any point. Mr. Downing, you're recognized for the ANS.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My amendment in the nature of a substitute for H.R. 726 will ensure that this legislation delivers necessary reforms for the Crow Tribe without requiring any new federal spending. Specifically, this ANS removes a provision that would have transferred settlement funds held in existing joint signature bank accounts into new accounts in the U.S. Treasury. In order to ensure that the bill does not score as increasing federal spending by the Congressional Budget Office, this ANS authorizes funds to continue to be deposited into the tribe's existing joint signature MR&I account. I appreciate Chairman Westerman and committee staff for their assistance in crafting this amendment, and I encourage all of my colleagues in supporting this. And with that, Mr. Chair, I yield.
Gentleman yields back. Is there further discussion on the ANS? If there's no further discussion on the amendment, it is now in order to consider amendments to the ANS to H.R. 726. Are there any further amendments? Seeing none, the question now occurs on the amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 726 offered by the gentleman from Montana, Mr. Downing, designated Downing 73 ANS. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the amendment in the nature of a substitute is adopted. The question now occurs on reporting H.R. 726 as amended to the House with the recommendation that the bill be favorably approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The bill as amended is ordered reported to the House with the recommendation that it be favorably approved. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.